So Zohran obviously has been on a tremendous pace in terms of his success getting the nomination, continuing to espouse the right message. We're noticing other candidates that have been taking, I would say, direction from him, including Abdul El-Sayed, who is running for the U.S. Senate in Michigan, and he's actually doing a very good job. He has closed the gap on AIPAC scumbag darling Haley Stevens. So kudos to him, and his Instagram and just overall social media content has been pretty sharp. So Zohran has definitely made a tremendous impact, not just from obviously winning the primary, which goes without saying is a pretty big deal. But what is the sort of bigger deal here is his decision to hire an Obama alum to head one of his important posts for his campaign. And so I think that in itself is a really big problem, not necessarily because I don't think that Zohran can't be trusted. I think that, he hasn't given you reason yet to say, all right, well, he's definitely not working on behalf of us. So what exactly is he up to?
What's the red flag? Because it is a red flag. And we've seen this before. Like, this is a common theme that we've seen in campaigns where, people say, yeah, I get AOC vibes from him. This is why. And we've been to campaigns and seen campaigns that are supposed to be pulling away from that. But yet you look at who's involved in the campaign, and it's the people that are the reason that we're in the predicament that we're in. So then it makes you wonder, okay, so if he's bringing in this person, why does he owe a favor? And that's what this is about, because make no mistake, this is the consultant class that we talk about. So why would he be doing that?
Mamdani appoints top DNC and Obama advisor in bid to secure Democratic Party establishment support. Well, here's the first red flag. The Democratic Party establishment is not, stop, scroll up, Colin. Freeze it on that spot. No, on his picture. Thank you.
Stop talking mean to Colin.
I'm not talking mean, I'm talking stern. There's a difference.
Okay, well, just.
So here's the difference, and we've talked about this. It is completely understandable that Zohran is going to seek the support and get the support of the unions in New York City. Now, Jen and I are of the mind that the power brokers in the Democratic Party are going to, turn the screws to all of the union leadership councils throughout the city. Now, not all of them are going to get behind Zohran.
Maybe that's why this appointment happened. Maybe this appointment was the cost of doing that business.
It's very possible. I'm not going to say that it's not, but one of the people that he has hired is one of the top members of the SEIU. Now, if anybody knows the SEIU, this is one of the better unions that's out there. They represent the service workers. They represent workers that work in office buildings and various places throughout the city. We experienced that in a big way when Jen ran against Wasserman Schultz. The locals wanted to support her, but of course, the heads of the union wanted no part of it.
No.
They backed Wasserman Schultz.
So maybe that's the trade-off that he made. He's like, this is what I'm saying. When you make an appointment like that, when you bring in someone like that, that is the antithesis of everything that you've been saying up until now, it's you made a deal somewhere. Now, is that the deal in order to get, that's like kind of the deal you had to make to get the union backing? Is it completely unrelated? Is it related to something else? I don't know, but this is why it's a red flag.
Yeah, it's a big red flag. And I say that because I don't see a reason why he would need to hire an Obama alumni, because the Democratic Party establishment is not going to back no matter what. They've already made it very clear. Now, one of the congressional representatives out of the 15, I think we mentioned the other day or a week ago, pertaining to who are the AIPAC-owned congressional representatives all throughout New York City that are not going to support him. One of them, Congressman Esfalat, I think is how you say their name. They're the chair of the Democratic Party Hispanic caucus in the state of New York, and they are now backing him, which is great. I mean, again, you take the support where you can get it as long as you don't have to make any illicit concessions that we're aware of. But obviously that endorsement does help. Now, that's just one. There are plenty others that are definitely not going to get behind him under any circumstances. Now, whether they get behind Cuomo, whether they get behind Adams, or they just stay completely out of the race, that will remain to be seen. We are not surprised in any way, shape, or form that Zohran is seeking the support of the union leadership councils.
But this is not the way to do it. And I'm going to tell you another concern. Let's say there's no deal and he's just legitimately trying to create a situation of harmony so he can get their support. They will sabotage him from the inside. You bring in someone like this who's sort of on the side really working for Cuomo or Adams, and he's in here playing double duty. That's what I think when I see shit like this. I think he's in there to sabotage the campaign. He's in there to either get dirt. He's in there to cause some sort of problem, to create a situation that will ultimately benefit who the establishment Dems want. And that is not him. So this is extremely suspect.
Scroll down, Colin, please. Zohran Mamdani, a member of the DSA and the winner of last month's Democratic primary for New York City mayor, has responded to the wave of threats and denunciations from Donald Trump and sections of the ruling class by further entrenching his campaign within the Democratic Party establishment and the trade union bureaucracy. I agree with one, I don't agree with the other. But again, this is a socialist website, so take it with a grain of salt. Mamdani has announced major additions to his campaign team, including former DNC political director Jeffrey Lerner as comms director, and Deandra Khan, a top official from SEIU, local 32BJ, to the campaign's political team. A New York Times article published Wednesday portrayed Mamdani's expanded campaign team as a major step toward securing support within the Democratic Party as he prepares to face incumbent Mayor Eric Adams and former Governor Andrew Cuomo, both running as independents in the November mayoral election. Lerner served in the Obama administration from 2009 to 2011 as White House Southern political director before moving to the DNC to lead political strategy for Obama's 2012 reelection. Lerner was also comms director for Andrew Cuomo when Cuomo was New York State Attorney General under Governors Eliot Spitzer and David Paterson, two of the more corrupt governors we've seen in recent memory.
But does that not scream somebody working both sides to you?
That's a bad one. I didn't even read that. I didn't even read that part. Like, that's a part that I wasn't even fully aware of. So now that I see it,
I was feeling it before, but now it just seems a little bit. So either, something is awry. So in other words, the guy who used to be the comms director for Cuomo is now just suddenly being appointed to Mamdani's campaign.
Yeah, that's not a good look. That's very, very questionable.
I think that they're either setting up. I saw somebody in the chat saying we're too negative. I don't know who it was, but no, we've seen things.
No. See things again.
We've
that's
seen
not
things.
See, the problem that I heard things. The problem that people need to understand is that we're not telling you not to support Mamdani. We are telling you to just be aware and be ready to be let down.
Let's say he is as genuine and real, and he's the real deal. Let's say that he is everything that we think he is, and they're just sort of playing him to some extent. And they have somebody that's now been appointed to his campaign and they're working against him or whatever. That doesn't necessarily reflect poorly on him as a person, but it is something to just be aware of. And we've seen things. And that kind of stuff happens. Like, we've seen that. So,
And Adriano Espelot is David Hunter's rep. He's not good, and he's an AIPAC shill. And he has come out in support of Mamdani. Now, the question is there any backroom deals that were made as a means to getting his support? I mean, who knows? I wouldn't necessarily be totally suspect, but if somebody like Richie Torres came out and said he supported Mamdani, then I would be very suspicious. Then it wouldn't be, oh, but he's come to the table. No, that's not how it works.
Something is off here. Something is off.
The fact that you're hiring somebody that was knee deep in Cuomo's world and Cuomo is running right now as an independent.
I just think it's weird that I didn't know that. And that, of course, is what we just scrolled to after I said it wouldn't surprise me if he were in there playing both teams.
I'm with Ozma. I think his intentions are good, but I don't trust them.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
They're not going to change.
However, I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt and that he's smart enough. And again, we've seen things. So like you want to believe that certain people are smart enough that they see it and they won't get taken by it and that they see it coming and that they just use it to their advantage. And that would be great. But you just don't know. You just don't know.
Keep scrolling, Colin, please. Actually, freeze for a second. I don't think I had finished that before. I apologize. Just a little further up. He has occupied top positions at major public relations firms, Actum LLC and Dan Cloris's Communications, and served as a senior advisor to California Senator LaFonza Butler. I don't know who that is. That's
okay. Translation. He's been in the consultant class for many years.
For a while. Oh yeah, for at least according
to those names of firms and blah 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 communications.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that this person's. Yeah,
that's elitist speak for white collar campaign carnies. It's the same people. They're the consultant class.
Yeah. Well, again, you're also bringing on somebody who's been at it for probably 20 years. The Times article notes in the Obama White House and the DNC, Lerner worked closely with Patrick Gaspard, a senior party official who has played a growing role advising Mamdani. Okay, so this is something that's been going on before the election, I would imagine. Gaspard served as Obama's ambassador to South Africa. Again, nothing big there. White House Director of Political Affairs and Executive Director of the DNC from 2011 to 2013. Okay, that's a red flag. Patrick Gaspard worked with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So that right there doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth, as it shouldn't lead in anybody else's.
I'm just saying all of this is very interesting. And I said to you before, when we were speaking before, that we don't know how long he's been working with them. We don't know that he hasn't been working. Right. So we don't know that whatever this is, whatever these malintended people are, and they are malintended, whatever little seeds they're planting could be going on longer than just this particular public appointment is what I'm saying. It looks like it says he's been with him for a while. So this has DNC sort of Obama stink on it too, for sure.
Yeah. Gaspard was also president of the George Soros Connected Open Society Foundation from 2017 to 2020. Red flag. He publicly endorsed Mamdani earlier this month and has previously advised his campaign. Okay, so this sounds like a post-primary win, but even still, it's a big problem. Khan is a labor and political strategist who has served as political director and senior advisor to the president of 32BJSCIU, one of the largest property service unions in the U.S., representing tens of thousands of janitors, building superintendents, doormen, porters, and maintenance workers. In 2021, Khan was named to city and state of New York's 40 under 40. That shit doesn't mean anything. Since his primary victory, Mamdani has faced a coordinated campaign to block his election from both the Republican fascist right and, of course, and majority sections of the Democratic Party. Yeah, there's not a Republican fascist party. There is a duopoly fascist conglomerate that exists in the United States. So get it right if you're going to say that. Donald Trump has repeatedly attacked Mamdani on social media, calling him a 100% communist lunatic, questioning his citizenship and threatening to block his re-election, though unspecified. Yeah, if you're going to, come on, guys, spell check, please. Unspecified means. A number of prominent Democrats, including DWS of Florida and Laura Gillen of New York, have smeared Mamdani as anti-Semitic. Well, just like that.
There's a shocker. So right here, what we're seeing is, wait, who who wrote this? Whose article? Where is this being published?
It's the World Socialist website.
Okay, but in whatever event, like whatever case, whatever the press release or whatever, you can see the link that now you can see is 2 degrees of separation between Zohran and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. That's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, look, even if,
because now it's like, you know, this is sort of like we joke down in South Florida about what we call Jewish geography. Like if normally it's 6 degrees of separation, if you're Jewish in South Florida, it's really like 1. But this is corrupt geography right here. Okay. If he's connected to them and she's connected to, they're all filthy.
They are. And like I said, Gaspard worked with Wasserman Schultz when she was the head of the DNC, and he was clearly within her inner circle based on his position. So this is, like I said, and this is what we are imploring Mamdani to listen to, which clearly at this moment he's not listening to. Debbie Wasserman Schultz would have you executed if she could get away with it. And yet at the same time, you want to break bread with people that like breaking bread with her. That's
and then who at the end of the day, ultimately, see, that's what I question. What I question is, who are these people ultimately working for? What's the guy's name? Lerner?
Jeff Lerner, yeah.
Jeff Lerner. Like, is Lerner really working to get Mamdani elected?
He's working his career.
Well, that we know. But is there something even more underhanded about it? Again, I find it very strange that he used to work for Cuomo. I find it very strange that he has been affiliated with all of these people that are the antithesis of what Zohran's campaign is about. I find that very suspect. So either they've been involved for a long time and this is just the public, this is just our notification of it. And these people have been involved in his campaign from the start, which is, again, suspect. It's like they're hedging their bets and playing both sides. And now they've got like a 2-to-1 situation going. Like it's just, But the problem is I guess what remains to be seen is what his level of knowledge and participation is in this. And that's what we won't know.
The vicious hostility of the Mamdani campaign from dominant sections of the ruling class is motivated by fear over the broad opposition to inequality and U.S. imperialist policy that underlines his upset victory. New York is gripped by a deepening social crisis with over 2 million residents, 1 in 4, living in poverty. Trust me, the number's higher than that. Nearly twice the national average. Child poverty has reached 26%. While median rents have surged to a record $3,900 per month. Now, granted, that is fairly skewed based on what a lot of people will pay, but let's just say that the average 1-bedroom apartment in New York City is probably north of $2,500 a month. And we're not talking about a place that's really worth living in. We're talking about apartments that are maybe 350 to 400 square feet, if you're lucky. And I've been in them. So I can assure you that the so-called concept of living out of a broom closet, that's a real thing in New York. And I've seen some really, especially in Manhattan and in Brooklyn, there are incredible lengths that people will go to cram themselves into a place that they can just say that I'm living in, I'm living in Chelsea in Manhattan. I'm living in Williamsburg in Brooklyn. By doing so, you're continuing to justify the broken capitalist system that we have. And so Mamdani, I think, is a direct response in many ways to we're done with this form of economic and political maneuvering. We want something different. Mamdani's own response, expressing the politics of DSA, has been to accommodate his program to big business and shift further to the right. Well, again, this is a socialist website, so anything that is even deemed slightly off of deep left field is going to be considered moving to the right. In interviews following the election, Mamdani stressed that he has a vision for every single New Yorker, including business leaders. Again, I don't have a problem with that.
Wait, and then come to the next paragraph. Herein is the rub.
The hiring of Lerner signals a strategic deepening of ties within the Democratic Party establishment. The appointment of Khan is also significant as the leadership of New York's union bureaucracy coalesces around his candidacy. Again, I am not concerned about unions supporting Zohran Mamdani. That's a necessary part of winning politics. It was a necessary part of Jen beating Wasserman Schultz, and they never caved, even though she was blackmailing multiple people that were union leaders. So nothing surprises me, but this is part of politics. Does he have to give in to the consultant industrial complex? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. I think this is a complete misstep and not necessary. This further underscored by the earlier endorsement by UAW President Shawn Fain. Again, we like Shawn Fain, so that's good that he supports him, who has echoed Trump's nationalist rhetoric by backing tariffs and denouncing free trade. Again, you do not compare Shawn Fain to Donald Trump. Shawn Fain is looking out for his workers. Shawn Fain represents auto workers who have had their jobs outsourced to other parts of the world so they don't pay a living wage. So as far as I'm concerned, there probably is very strong validity as to why Shawn Fain believes in this. And this is where people get into the argument of socialists really just being closet communists, and they don't actually agree with any form of free market economy, even if it is one that would have true tangible benefit to workers. But I digress. So Mamdani's praise for Fain signals his alignment with the, again, I do not agree with what these guys are talking about here. The vote for Mamdani in the Democratic primary reflects a broad shift to the left among workers and youth. That is true. Driven by growing anger over inequality, war, and the repression of democratic rights. In the 2 weeks since his victory, Mamdani has moved rapidly to court the Democratic Party establishment and present himself as a reliable defender of capitalist stability. The trajectory expresses the essential function of the Democratic Socialists of America, which exists to channel mass opposition back into the dead end of the Democratic Party and smother it.
That's all. Like, there's a lot of truth there, right? Like that is the point. Mm-hmm. What concerns me, and again, it remains to be seen, is his level, Zohran's level of knowledge of who he's working with, who he's dealing with, and what he stands to lose or gain, if that's realistic, if he knows, and how long he's been involved with them. Because again, this is very strange. Why would he be hiring someone who worked for Cuomo? Ever?
That's the side that's very perplexing, I would say.
There's a few parts of that are off. That are off. Again, now you're like, you have him 2 degrees removed from DWS. So that's not a pool you want to be swimming in. And if he's been swimming in that for some time, it makes me concerned. Is it that I think he's compromised? Not necessarily. I could be concerned for him as much as I could be concerned about him. Yeah, but something is very awry with that.